Let's be honest, finding the perfect tenant feels kind of like dating, right? You're looking for someone reliable, financially stable, and who won't trash your place when things go south. The difference, though, a bad date costs you dinner. A bad tenant can cost you thousands. Don't forget to do that YouTube thing, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I'm Bud Evans, 35-year Air Force veteran, 13-year law enforcement officer, former mayor, and now I'm a full-time property manager and real estate investor. With Second Street Property Management, we've seen landlords lose 5 figures because they just decided to skip a single step in the screening process. Late rent payments, property damage, evictions, legal battles, horror stories were endless. And the worst part, most of these disasters were completely preventable. So whether you're managing your first rental property or your 15th, these 7 tenant screening mistakes are the ones that are going to drain your bank accounts and your sanity. So let's break it down and, more importantly, show you exactly how to fix them. Mistake number 1, skipping the screening process entirely. Yes, people actually do this. And yes, it's actually as disastrous as it sounds. Maybe the applicant seemed friendly during the showing. Maybe they paid the deposit in cash on the spot. Maybe you were just desperate to fill the vacancy before the mortgage payment hit. Whatever the reason, skipping tenant screening is like driving blindfolded because your GPS said the road looked clear. You might survive, but the odds really aren't in your favor. The fix? Screen everyone, every single applicant, no exceptions, even if it's your best friend's cousin for them, even if they're offering to pay 6 months up front. Honestly, that is sometimes a red flag in itself. A proper screening process protects your investment and sets professional expectations from day one. Mistake number 2, inconsistent screening criteria. Here's where landlords accidentally stumble into legal hot water. You approve one applicant with a 620 credit score because they seemed trustworthy, then reject another with a 650 because something just seemed off. Congratulations, you've just opened yourself up to a fair housing complaint. Federal and state housing guideline laws require you to apply the same standard to every applicant. Personal feelings, gut instincts, and vibes will not hold up in court. But here's the fix. Create a written screening criteria checklist and apply it uniformly. This should include minimum credit score requirements, income to rent ratio, typically 2.5 to 3 times the monthly rent, rental history standards, background check parameters, and then document everything. When you can point to an objective criteria, you protect yourself legally while ensuring fair treatment for all your applicants. Mistake 3, skimping on the credit and the background checks. Running a credit check does cost money, right? Running a background check takes some time. You know what costs more money and takes more time? Evicting a tenant who hasn't paid rent in 3 months. Some landlords skip these checks to save a few bucks or speed up the process. Others run one, but not the other. Both approaches are going to leave a massive hole and a huge blind spot. A credit report reveals payment patterns, debt loads, financial responsibility, and a background check uncovers criminal history, prior evictions, judgments, and other red flags that won't show up on a credit report. The fix, just both, every time. Build the application fee to cover these costs so it doesn't come out of your pocket. Professional tenant screening services streamline this process and ensure that you're getting accurate, compliant reports. This isn't the place to cut corners. Mistake number 4, ignoring rental history. Credit scores tell you how someone handles debt. Rental history tells you how they treat a property. A tenant might have a stellar 750 credit score, but a trail of landlords in their wake. Late payments and noise complaints and lease violations or damage beyond normal wear and tear. None of this is going to show up on a credit report. Skipping rental history verification is essentially gambling that past behavior won't repeat itself. Spoiler alert, it usually does. The fix? Contact at least 2 previous landlords, not just the current one. They might say anything to get a problem tenant out of their property. Ask specific questions. Did the tenant pay rent on time? Did they leave the property in good condition? And this is the most important one. Would you rent to them again? That last question is often the most revealing. Listen carefully to hesitation or vague answers. Mistake number 5 is checking the wrong references. Your application provided 3 references. Wonderful. But if all 3 are personal friends who think they're super nice, you haven't learned anything useful. Personal references are rarely going to deliver honest assessments of someone's reliability as a tenant. They're designed to make the applicant look good, and that's the whole point. Here's the fix. Request and verify a mix of reference types. You want previous landlords to show rental behavior, previous employer or current employer for income verification and job stability. You want professional references for character and reliability. Call every reference. Ask pointed questions. Cross-reference their answers with the information on the application. Mistake number 6, poor communication during the process. Tenant screening isn't just about evaluating the applicant, it's also about them evaluating you. Radio silence after someone submits an application, vague answers about your criteria, unclear timelines. Great tenants have options, and they're going to choose the landlord who treats them professionally. Poor communication also creates anxiety that lead applicants to accept another offer before you even made a decision. The fix: set clear expectations up front. How long the screening process typically takes and what documentation you're going to need. How and when you're going to communicate your decision. Even a simple, "We've received your application and will follow up within 48 hours" goes a heck of a long way toward building a positive landlord-tenant relationship before the lease is even signed. Mistake number 7 is failing to get proper consent. This one can land you in some serious legal trouble. You cannot run a credit check or a background check without the applicant's written consent. It's usually just pushing a button, but it doesn't matter how obvious it seems or whether they should have known it was part of the process. Beyond consent, you're also required to follow adverse action procedures if you reject someone based on their credit or background check. This means you have to provide specific notices and give them a chance to dispute inaccurate information. So here's the fix. Use a compliant rental application that includes explicit authorization for credit and background checks. If you deny an applicant based on these reports, just provide the required adverse action notice and the information about the reporting agency that you used. When in doubt, consult with a property management professional or an attorney who specializes in landlord-tenant law. The penalties for violations aren't worth the risk. Why professional tenant screening services matter? Well, at this point, you might be thinking, this seems like a whole lot of work. And you're right. Proper tenant screening takes time, attention to detail, and knowledge of fair housing laws. One misstep can cost you thousands in damages, lost rent, legal fees, or discrimination claims. This is exactly why so many landlords partner with professional property management companies for tenant screening services. Look, at Second Street Property Management, we handle the entire screening process using consistent, compliant, and comprehensive criteria. We verify income, we check references, we run credit and background checks. We ensure that every applicant is evaluated fairly, and we document everything for you to protect you legally. The result is better tenants, fewer headaches, and more predictable cash flow. So protect your investment starting today. Bad tenants don't just damage properties, they damage your peace of mind. Every month you miss rent, every repair bill, every hour spent in court adds up. Here's the good news. These mistakes are avoidable. Whether you implement longer screening yourself or bring in professional help, the investment in proper tenant screening will pay for itself many times over. So here's an actionable tip. Audit your current screening process against this list. Where are your blind spots? What steps are you skipping or doing inconsistently? If you're feeling overwhelmed or just want to hand this off to experts who do it every day, reach out to us. We'd love to show you how professional tenant screening services can protect your investment and your sanity. Look, your future self and your bank account will thank you. Don't forget to do that YouTube thing, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I'm Bud Evans. Until the next video, aim high, execute fast. See you on the next one.